and then you recover on the slightly flatter bits. So that's something if you're not that kind of natural climber, you're going to have to settle into a rhythm and use the slightly flatter parts to recover, because we're going to do this twice. So it'll be a totally different race the next time we see this part of the course.
Sometimes when you see the climb and you're wanting to go for that general classification and you can see your opponents really starting to suffer, it can almost lead you into going too hard too soon.
It can. Because we're doing this twice, you have to be very, very patient about how you ride. So if you see somebody in difficulty, generally they're going to be in difficulty the next time up there. So it's not the same as if there's a mountaintop finish and you would actually accelerate a little bit to get rid of them straight away. You know they're in trouble already, and just with a general pace, that's going to be fatal for them. So yeah, you save all your accelerations for the last climb. And we've got the descent to do as well, so you need a certain amount of freshness to be able to do that well too.
And that certainly changes things, because unlike previous Queen stages that we've seen in the Tour of Slovenia, where it's finished at the top of the mountain, this will crest the top of the climb with 14.9 kilometers to go. Then we'll descend and you'll get onto the flat roads in the run into the finish with just over 2 kilometers to go as we head towards Kobarid. And so the dynamic of the race really changes as well.
Absolutely. If you're a good descender, you can come over the top maybe 20 seconds down on a group and come back almost straight away. Just looking at how this is, if it's going to be a similar type of road on the way down, then it can be very technical at speed. And if you're not...
I love the passion here in Slovenia. It's something really special, the lengths they go to make sure that they come out and cheer the peloton as they come through their villages, their towns, all of the decoration, almost a festival-like feel about it. We're situated northwest of the capital of Ljubljana, which is where we got underway from this morning at 10:30 a.m. local time. The finish is in Kobarid. We're on to the penultimate king of the mountain of the day, Kolovrat. We currently have one lone leader, Samuele Zaccaroto, the 25-year-old Italian from Green Project Bardiani. And this climb is a severe one. It's 10.3 kilometers with an average gradient of 9.5%. The gradients go upwards to 14% here, and the most difficult part of the climb is that midsection. Everything being controlled as it has been done every single day by the Australian outfit Jayco Alula. What do we think of Filippo Zanna's chances today, Pippa?
He's looking good there. He's just sitting kind of looking around, seeing what's happening. But then a lot of riders are. So he's ideally positioned not to have to suffer too much. You see this attack from Tudor, which is still 5-6 kilometers to go to the top. And we've seen this quite often from Tudor, that they'll attack from a long way out and try and provoke something happening. There's no response from the peloton for the moment. We'll see how
They've always
develops.
been very animated, haven't we? As we see Simon Pelou, the Swiss rider, taking his opportunity, a brilliant climber, winner of the overall general classification earlier on this year at the Tour de Bretagne. Just keeping themselves alongside the Italian champion, Filippo Zanna. Zaccaroto, no real threat in this general classification at all. He's at 8 minutes and 15. Those wanting to go for the overall general classification won't be too worried if they're keeping themselves well within striking distance at 1 minute and 15 here. Zaccaroto, a real nice, smooth pedaling style, really efficient. For the first 3 stages, waiting and playing that waiting game until we've gotten to the Queen stage here on stage 4, knowing that they should save energy, play to their strengths as riders, as teams. There's a couple of riders in this group from Human Powered Health, as is a couple of riders from Euskaltel Euskadi. You can see with that iconic orange jersey. Lucas Eriksson is on the back here, the Swedish national champion from Tudor Pro Cycling. And there is Joel Nicolau from Kairoal.
It's quite surprising that Jaco and Lula are still riding on the front, because they don't have to assume any kind of responsibility now. And if Postelberg is riding on the front, the only reason can be that they still have Penn on there in the middle of the group, so it could be that they're trying to keep it together until the next climb. But otherwise, there's absolutely no reason for them to ride and set the pace, especially with this rider 8 minutes behind the
Would teams do it just to keep at your own pace and make sure that you've got the complete control of just how fast you're riding on the climb?
With a minute's lead, you know, even if he looks back, he's going to be 300-400 meters in front on this kind of type of climb. He's not going to be able to see what's happening.
Zuccarello crosses the top of the King of the Mountain. He collects 10 points. The points for this King of the Mountain, this first category, are awarded to the first 5 riders to cross the line. Edging towards the front, Zuccarello still maintaining his advantage of 1 minute and 7 seconds. A descent, Pippa, where the gradient only sort of losing a couple of percent or so. Still having to pedal down this descent. As you can see, the dappled light coming through. Tudor Pro Cycling also deciding they want to try and send another rider to bridge across to Team Vordelberg. Stussy is going to have some help in this chase to Zuccarello. Looking to try and feed and replenish the energy stores on this descent.
So this is the ideal spot for your feet, that bit just there where we saw Zuccarello go past just before it.
The emerald green river that goes through this valley here, and Charin, with a fresh pair of legs, takes a look around. He's waiting, he's wanting Zuccarello to come through and give him a turn. But Zuccarello is just going to play for another couple of kilometres. Colin Stussy is back in this group alongside his teammate, Oscar Sabedo. 3 riders in this group from Euskaltel Euskadi. 1 rider there from Human Powered Health. A little bit further back is keeping the patience, knowing that you've got this final climb fast approaching. 10.3 kilometres long, an average gradient of 9.5%. Double digits in the mid part of that climb, upwards of 14%.
This is played out ideally for the organisers. You know, the breaks that keep a bit of action during the rest.
There's a number of teams with strength in numbers, and Equipo Kern Pharma are one of the strongest of those. Is Pau Mikel tries to break things up. Another rider who's at that 20-second marker in the general classification, but the majority of all of these riders on the same time when you go for victory and glory on the Queen stage. They came into the base of this climb with 3 riders. They were in a strong position with Halu Abriha, Matt.
And there's still 5 kilometres to the top of this climb. That last kilometre at 14% awaits.
Zvihov finding himself in the wheel of Ulysses, and Ulysses has the group of 4 just in his sights. Paul Double and Filippo Zana are going in pursuit, and Double, the man from Winchester, knows that this terrain is his bread and butter. He knows that he can really put the Italian champion under some pressure. Double coming into the day 20 seconds down in the general classification, like many of the other riders within the race. The time gaps haven't really opened up on the first 3 stages, but today is a day for those time gaps to really be opened up and see some damage done in that general classification. Along with it will be a big shake-up in the general classification. And Bartolatti, he grinds his way back to the wheel of Pena and Double. Ulysses has been biding his time. He's been riding well within himself. The experience is showing from the 33-year-old. The 8-time Giro d'Italia stage winner has got to the wheel of Lorenzo Fortunato as Filippo Zana is approaching the top and about to crest the top of this King of the Mountain. He'll take the 10 points in the King of the Mountains classification, but what he's looking for is time. He wants to try and win the overall here at the Tour of Slovenia. And his teammate is going in pursuit, Pippa.
And he's not far behind. He's roughly 200 metres behind.
Pena looks around. He's got a problem by the looks of things, has he? He's searching for some assistance.
I think he was just trying to see around the motorbike.
Fortunato and Filippo Zana, who previously had an advantage of 25 seconds over this duo. Jesus Pena is going in search of his first professional victory. The 23-year-old Colombian rider, he's had podiums during his career. Joined Bike Exchange last year as a neo-pro. Filippo Zana, who was in pole position, has found himself in the chase behind his teammate Jesus David Pena. Once we get down to the bottom of this descent, Pippa, with 2.2 kilometres to go and they make that left-hand turn, how long does Ulysses ride on the front for? Because he's been the one guiding down this descent here. But of course, he doesn't want to take Fortunato or Zana all the way to the finish line and almost give them a free ride.
He's got no choice. He's going to have to ride because the other riders he's with know that he's the fastest. So he's got no choice but to ride. And I imagine even then, being the fastest, if he does ride to the
the pace and the chase has completely been lost here, Pippa.
Yeah, now they're looking round so they know that Pena's going to go to the finish, even though he's stuck in that little gear. And these guys are riding now for the second place, almost. Well, certainly second place, because Pena's inside the last, past the kilometre already, so he's managed to stay in front.
Pena is going in pursuit of glory on the Queen stage of the Tour of Slovenia. We're heading towards Kobarid. And after 167 kilometres of racing, he's got the finish line all but in his sights. The final turn coming with around 100 metres to go, and just behind, Fortunato takes a look around over his left-hand shoulder. There's a larger group coming, and Aliotti, still with the bit between his teeth, is chasing the trio as best he can, but with Pena with 300 metres to go, still with that mechanical. It's been a long, hard fight. He's been working for his teammate Filippo Zana, and almost shaking of the head, Pena is looking for his first professional victory. The Colombian from Jaco Alula, he sprints out of the corner. He gives it everything he's got left because he knows that It can never be left to chance. Every second counts towards the general classification. Jesus Pena wins the Queen stage. And the sprint opens up behind, and Zanna takes the final right-hand corner in pole position. He sprints to second place. He wants to try and make it a 1-2 for Jaco Alula. Zanna takes a look around. He takes second. Ulysses Viperi pushed it all the way to the line, trying to take as much time as possible. Take as much of an advantage over the chasing and his rivals.
He did. You could hear his concern there. How much of a gap did he have? I think we heard one of the carers saying they're 18 seconds. So obviously then they have to be careful tomorrow. But what was really interesting about that was the way they both looked slightly shell-shocked at what happened to them during the day. So they've both been on the ground